No, okay, but wow, okay, this is an awful place to start the recording. Fuck you, Gray. You
I
should
didn't
do
start that.
you should do the rest of the recap. Actually, I know that you didn't start it. You should do the rest of the recap. Actually,
Do you really think that I was present enough in my body or mind and not dissociating through combat enough to do the recap?
no. Okay.
We put these on YouTube, by the way.
There was
that's
not sure we do.
Start.
We do when I have
listen to them
time
on
to do them.
YouTube, baby.
Really?
How do you think I know what goes on in our own games? As I watch the YouTube.
There couldn't be a more chaotic start. Anyway, this all led to us with the ledger in hand, Amric in bonds, and the Spine Devil to interrogate. That is where the session picked up. We then proceeded to talk to this fucker that named himself as what was the dude's name? I have it here somewhere, but it's not. Kashara. The Spine Devil that had been essentially bound to Amric to keep an eye on things and monitor progress in the city. We sort of had this interrogation sequence. There were a few things revealed, one of which was that there was an even further connection between the Vanthampur family and the Cult of the Dead 3, and that in particular the matriarch of that household was also kind of the head of the business. So Amric was, he was fairly high up. He was up there, but the main sort of infrastructure of the cult is sort of alongside the infrastructure of this noble house. And very, very interestingly, we also learned that the High Overseer, Thavius Krieg, who was previously sort of the head, the ruler of the city of Alterel, before it sank into the depths, disappeared, something terrible happened to it, is currently a resident, sort of a guest of the Vanthampur family, right here within the city of Baldur's Gate. So there is some...
Yeah, and Kashara pointed out, like, hey, isn't it funny how the High Overseer comes here and then the city immediately collapses into the hells? Funny that.
So yeah, there might be some stuff going on there. We also learned we basically the ledger as well. The conclusion with that is that it was enough to get even a member of a noble house done for basically being like a loan shark, along with various other bits of business, and again confirming the ties between him and the Cult of the Dead 3 that we had previously been aware of. And the inventory notes about like the chests that we'd found in the hideout. And there was a name listed as the sender being some mysterious Krull with no other details. So we learned all this through conversation with the Spine Devil, and then through a deal agreed with Requiem. They were allowed to go free, to return to wherever their demonic master might be. With that information as a valuable enough trade for their continued existence.
For that information and permission to contact them again if necessary.
Yes,
that was real important to me. I was trying to get that in real hard.
We can have an infernal business meeting maybe at some point.
Okay, that's cool.
If that becomes relevant.
No true names were exchanged, but calling cards were.
You fucking tricky bastard.
But yes, so we then proceeded from there. We reported back to Captain Zodge, who was our contact with the Flaming Fist, and the current head of the Flaming Fist, with the main guy having been in Alterel when it fell and currently missing in action. We exchanged most of the information, but we held back anything regarding the High Overseer, as the parties sort of felt this information was sensitive enough that it should probably be kept back for now. There's no telling how high informant networks can go, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept that information that information to ourselves, but most of the stuff with like, this guy was involved in the Cult of the Dead 3, and maybe that there might be a connection with the rest of the Nobler family, or did we not share that yet?
I don't think you shared that information
that.
either.
So
we didn't share the mother directly. We said the rest of the family, but we just specifically did not mention the matriarch.
Yeah, and like to work things out in a neater sort of way while the Spine Devil was being interrogated, still in the ship that is also a bar. Like Amric and Istilil were like taking Amric into custody, like took him to the actual guardhouse and stuff like that, just to get all of that processed and things.
What do you mean?
Yes.
One had magical handcuffs, the other had regular handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, and
then we went to a bar and got drunk. And
we went to a bar, got drunk, and had a sleepover. And that was the second half of the session, and nothing else.
It was a lot of fun character development in which we basically said, "Hey, get drunk, share your whole backstory." I guess.
Yeah, that's what happens, right?
Sometimes. And then also, there was a dog. There was a dog.
They picked up a stray, or the stray picked up themselves.
Yeah, the party was heading. Says, "Oh, it's like Crash at Darwin's. That'll be fine." But this strange black poodle started following them along. Didn't seem to be giving up the chase. Not really so much of a chase, just ambling along after following them, reasonable distance. So it's like, okay, well, we can't go here because it's trying to get into Owen's house. That's not going to be good. That'd be messy.
Before that, we did use a couple of spells to try and determine if it was magical and or evil.
Amric did do try to hold person on it. I believe Requiem did divine sense.
A dog is not a person.
A dog is not a person. Tragically, learned that the hard way.
It would have to. We said it would be monster. We said it was a beast, and you were like, "No, dogs aren't beasts."
I mean,
dogs aren't beasts.
But like, I feel like a whole person should work a dog. This is way off track.
We're not working on Johnny's function of what
Shut
animals.
Shut up. So we eventually said, okay, we can't stay here. Let's go to a hotel somewhere nice that has like a doorman. We'll keep the dog out. It'll be fine. So we head that way. Get set up in a hotel, have fun sleepover time, spread each other's hair. And then Alric takes a separate room, and halfway through the night gets up to go pee, and then as he's walking back to his room, oh look, there's the dog sitting in the middle of the hallway. That's totally fine, that's totally normal. So with resignation, he led it into his room, locked it in there for a hot second, and went to check in with the rest of the party. Before having something of a gut feeling, shall we say, that he should go back and confront this dog and see what it wants. And going back in, that's how Alaric met his patron, as this dog transmogrified into a fiendish wolf wearing a like a poodle fur coat, basically. Big horns, big smiles, very, very nice, very polite. And the two had a very interesting conversation.
Big bazongas?
Can't really tell. It was a very fluffy coat.
Oh.
You assume big bazongas, though.
You, Gray, are free to assume that. So,
assume I shall.
That's how Amric met his patron. He then proceeded to amicably let the dog out. He was the one who let the dog out. And the two parted ways, and the party. Yeah, nobody else was there for that conversation. So we'll see how things go in the morning. And that's about all that there is to tell.
Okay.
A lot of shit happened, but a lot of shit also didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe that section.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happened, but it can all be summarized pretty easily.
First half of the session, business. Second half of the session, pleasure.
Jesus.
Okay.
To the point where I'm pretty sure, Lito, were you also drinking?
I never drink when I DM.
Who was drinking with me? Someone was drinking with me. Was
I
I the
might
only
have
one
been.
drinking?
You might have been.
I totally would have been drinking with you if I'd been there.
Oh, thank you. I fully made myself a whole ass screwdriver.
I would have made a fruit pop, or I would have made a Jolly Rancher.
Don't know what either of those are. Sounds delicious.
Jolly Rancher is fruit punch or fruit juice and watermelon vodka. And
Ooh.
a fruit pop is amaretto, orange juice, and tequila.
Oh, I can fuck with some amaretto. Anyways. Yeah. So presumably y'all will have left word with each other about where to meet up, because people kind of separated their own way yesterday to go and handle all of the legal shit. Look at you guys being law-abiding citizens. You are the law. Also important, for bringing in the fugitive, Captain Zudge did pay everybody, each person individually, 200 gold.
Oh,
Which was also kind of hush money. Like, this is a political arrest. Please don't discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Here is some money. Please don't discuss it.
Here's some unrelated money.
No, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so it's up to you guys where you're meeting up to try to decide your next course of action.
I mean, breakfast and coffee seems only appropriate, yes. Dignified luncheon, perhaps.
Brunch?
A bruncheon.
That sounds dignified.
Terribly so.
So where would we meet for this very dignified brunch?
Alaric will have chosen out a place that is not quite in the upper district, but is sort of close enough to keep up appearances, and set that as a meeting point.
Okay.
All right, so you guys have brunch. Begin.
Brunch. The French toast jumps alive. Make a constitution saving throw to keep eating past the wall. It's really good French toast.
Oh god.
So, I assume the handover, the arrest all went smoothly, yes?
Yes, it went very well. He complained nonstop, but it went over well.
Well, he was a noble. I suppose it can only be expected.
There was a lot of wait till my mother hears about this.
It is something that's trained into us, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not a bad place to start. There is not quite sure how closely Amric was held to the rest of the family. If he was a black sheep, I don't know if we should be expecting some sort of payback to be en route.
I think if anything, the payback would go in Mortlock's direction, and he's going far away from here, so...
Oh yeah, also, yeah, Mortlock fucked off. He just decided...
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that didn't get mentioned. He was like, I don't want to deal with any of this. I'm skipping town for a while, maybe indefinitely.
What happened to the 5-headed dragon crown and the mask?
You put them in your backpack and didn't tell us, fucker. I remember that very well.
That is a good thing to remember because after his house was being watched, he wasn't going to leave them there.
Hmm.
Yeah, all the other treasures there, because it's just too heavy to move.
That's a thing. We should decide what we're going to do with these things.
I mean, if nothing else, I know a place where they could be cared for safely.
What did you have in mind?
Well, it is kind of my job to take care of things that aren't where they belong. Would I know a place that's not in Eltrell? Because now that I'm thinking about it, Eltrell's in the fucking ground.
It's in the fucking ground.
Me, I know places back where I'm from. Oh,
Oh shit.
oh shit.
Aww.
Oh man. I don't know.
Because
This is a world setting question. This is a world setting question for you. Like how widespread is the religion that you belong to?
Okay, we said it was a multi-god cult. We determined that how it was a temple with devotees of multiple gods sharing space.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, there would be more than one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, widespread, it would basically be like, who's leasing out a building for all these lesser-known gods?
Yeah, the small gods.
The small gods. Who's leasing out their buildings for all these little supplicants? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you would know of a temple space in Baldur's Gate that you've probably visited a little bit. It's probably fucking
why
tiny.
I'm here. Probably why I'm not also in hell right now.
But yeah. So theoretically, there is a place you could take it. You know that the security's not great.
But who needs mortal security when we have the security of our Lord and Savior?
Oh my god. All I can imagine is a thief trying to break in and the god appearing. No. Don't even think about it.
No. I'm gonna suck your breath out your lungs. Get out of here. Fucking skedaddle.
Not to be terribly crass, but could we expect any remuneration if this effort was to be handed into this place? I don't imagine that dismantling a devilish cult is particularly cheap business.
From the temple. I mean, that's not exactly how temples work. Usually things are given to the temple instead of the other way around. I mean, if anything, you would have favor. Sanctuary, perhaps, when needed.
That's not always a bad thing.
I mean, as long as you're with me, you're fairly welcome to most temples. But I don't know, it's something special, don't you think? Having that connection could be nice for the rest of you. If I'm not around.
And I would rather entrust these sort of items to people who know how to handle them than people who don't, or, stuffed under my bed.
I suppose if there's historical value, but I would prefer at least some of it to go towards securing further funds. Perhaps, what are the articles again that we managed to recover?
I believe it was
Should we discuss that here?
That's a point.
It's like primetime brunch hours, so there's a lot of ambient conversation happening around you guys.
Yeah, that makes me feel safe.
You know what? I'd like to do a perception roll. To see if
Sure.
pays attention to us.
This is what Lido does to you.
Inspires paranoia. My
Y'all are
favorite
totally
hobby.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you'll be spending spell slots trying to cast whole person on a dog.
This
I mean,
does
what
not
else
bode
were you
well.
using
My
those
first
slots
roll
for?
back is an 8.
Well played.
I'll join you. I have eyes in places where they absolutely should be. No, it was a 13. Wait. Yes, 13.
13. All right. You guys are pretty sure. You guys are both pretty sure that the conversations that are happening around you guys are going to mask any activity that's happening. Also, you guys are seated pretty close to the kitchen. So things are noisy enough so that if you keep your voices relatively low, you think you'll be good.
It's the clanking of dishes from the kitchen.
So what were the articles we managed to recover?
Maybe we should just discuss the specifics at Easterlill's place.
I suppose I can accept that if we assume that's less monitored than where we are currently.
It's not a bad idea.
If anything, the covered windows will help.
Fine, I can accept that.
I would
We
also
adjourn?
Anyway.
I would also just like to say banks are a thing that exist.
But
Who fucking trusts the bank in this economy?
Well,
I don't know, you guys are cops.
there's that, and also, what do? We just haul these 3 chests full of change up to the bank and be like, "Oh yeah, this isn't suspicious. Can we put this in an account, please?
Well, we are
Can we open a joint account?"
We are cops, to be fair, so we probably could do that and just show our badges and be like,
We're rent-a-cops, Dan. We're
Rent-a-cops.
rent-a-cops.
We
We're
are-
volunteer firefighters.
But everyone's a rent-a-cop.
Flirt side of the moon.
Christ.
Flirt side of the mall.
But yeah, we need to decide what we're doing with that anyway.
Mm.
So we need to go back there.
And then there's also a note to discuss of another individual whose name was brought to light as someone that might have connections to the Hells. I believe Estiathion Hune was the name. I've mentioned there's some family history there, but might be an individual who is worth looking into, if not directly contacting.
Oh yeah.
And beyond that, we know that well, we've at least disrupted the cults, but the head of the snake, well, we know where that lies as well.
My question is whether or not we want to go deeper. I know I do, but I wouldn't ask the rest of you to get involved in affairs you have no interest in.
I'm invested as well myself, so.
I feel pretty invested as well in figuring out what's going on with this, I think.
I'm of the same mind.
Yeah, I think we need to follow this through to the end, really. We need to find out what's going on.
Then my secondary question would be whether or not we want to do this through official channels. if high-ranking officials don't want things to be talked about, then, well, anything to do with the Vanthampur estate and us getting onto it probably wouldn't be very official, would it?
I'm not certain that we'll be able to take that family on in any capacity without at least partial support, or at least the phantom of support from the Flaming Fist. We need to tread carefully when it comes to the patriarch families.
But do you think if we asked for it, we would get it? Because I feel like the answer would be no.
I'm not sure that we would, but I think that having those connections, or again, the impression of those connections, offers us further opportunities that would otherwise be closed to us.
Well, we already have our badges, so I wonder if maybe getting more information first and then maybe bringing that to the Flaming Fist for support would be better.
Finding information is
yes.
certainly good, but my interest does not strictly lie with the Vanthampurs. I mean, my interest lies in Krieg.
Yeah, but they're linked.
They are, but
Wait. Are we having this conversation in private now? Have we adjourned to Istila's place?
oh.
I mean, we didn't say we did.
We didn't say we did.
I said trot
no one-
out loud.
Oh,
and
you said,
nobody-
okay, trot. Okay, so you were under the impression we were there, so I think that we're there.
Have we adjourned? Are we at Istila's place? Are we
think
all
so.
agreed?
Sure,
Yeah.
I
sure.
think Gray's trot was the official adjourning noise.
Okay.
All right, you guys have been having the latter
Wait.
half of this conversation at Istila's place.
Sure.
Because as soon as you start talking about the overseer, it's like, oh.
Now we're on Istila's comfy couch. Let's continue this conversation.
Yeah, you guys are just
this couch is so comfortable.
So a couple of you are on the couch, a couple of you have like taken pillows and are just sitting on the floor with takeout coffees.
Great.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
I thought you heard my chat.
So you were saying, yes, now that we've established the locality.
Where we are.
Professional. But yes, I do want to know the general interaction between the Vanthampurs and Krieg. I want to know how deep it goes into the cults of the Dead Three, considering, well, the state of the theocracy of Elturel, but I just want to know if it's related. I just very much would like my home to not be in the first layer of hell.
Understandable.
You know that's what happened. That's what's happened to it then.
I mean, Mortlock did say it out loud at one point, and to be fair, I quite believe everything he says. But
I might have been away from myself while that was happening.
But yes, if that is what has happened, then I mean, they do have the protection of the Hell Riders, but I really don't think that's enough.
So do you believe that it is a collaborative relationship between the two of them, as far as you can tell?
If we were to cast our suspicions, the fact that he is in the same position as I, having left the city and the city falling, well, I know why I was gone. I would very much like to know why he was as well.
And why was that, might I ask?
I am not bound to one temple. I may go where I please.
But what was your reason for coming to Baldur's Gate in particular?
I'll be honest, I had none other than a desire for a change of scenery. Things in Elturel are a bit stuffy. Baldur's Gate is refreshing in that way. Keeps you on your toes.
That is a unique perspective on this city.
I have many unique perspectives about many things, I can assure you.
Yes, what were the words? Living history? Speaking of, I have terribly, Tim, I must apologize for the previous evening. How did the both of you sleep in the end? Did you manage to find rest despite my interruptions?
Other than the singular interruption, I was fine. Lissa?
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, slept all right.
I'm
Did you
very
go back to sleep?
I did. It's somewhat. I'm still trying to process most of it myself, but. Listen, we were discussing the uncertainty regarding the provenance of both of our abilities.
Yeah.
I believe I've come slightly closer to understanding
Oh,
mine.
you don't want to talk about it?
I think it's a matter that I myself need a better understanding of before I can make it understandable to the group.
I'll psychically say to you, we can talk in private whenever you want, if you would like. Whenever you're ready.
He replies, I may take you up on that. I may also ask the services of Arwen as well. This is something that I think I have a base understanding of, but it may be better to have a more scientific viewpoint.
Okay. As long as you're okay.
For now. Regardless.
So, out loud, I say to Requiem, when were you last in Elturel?
To be fair, I haven't been in this city very long. Probably around a month, perhaps.
And how long has it been gone?
That's a good question. Gray doesn't know.
How long ago did the city collapse?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
So pretty fresh still.
Yep. The local law enforcement is getting a bit of a better hold of the refugee situation, but it's still not awesome. Things have calmed down a bit, though.
So I wonder how long the overseer's been here then.
That is a very good question.
2 weeks has been implied.
Was it implied?
Considering I was just like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Kashara said anything about that.
No, didn't give a timeline.
Okay.
So anyways, back to the matter of business we actually left to discuss. Is still ill?
I'm assuming you mean the mask and the crown?
Mm-hmm.
And the funds.
Oh, the funds. Istila will look over at the chest that's covered in a cloth with books sitting on it. Urban camouflage.
just a real hipster table.
It's like, nobody reads books. Why would these be on here?
I don't have any issue taking them somewhere where they would be safe away from people who want to use them for whatever reason.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Are these just trinkets, or are these articles by which devil worship is enacted?
Unfortunately, I don't have the powers to find that out.
I mean,
Go on.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask out of character. Did we find anything magically investigating them? Because I feel like we cast magic, but I don't remember if we found out anything.
There
I
was
know we read books.
there was a detect magic cast, and the only thing that showed up was the potions.
Right. Okay.
So
And then we
as far
haven't-
as you know, not magic.
We haven't touched them because we're worried they might be cursed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we read in a book that they were Vecna-y? Or not Vec... Yeah, was it? No?
No, it
It
It was one of the
uh,
dragons.
Might
it was
I ask?
Tiamat-y.
Yeah.
Tiamat, thank you. I was just like, which one's the hell dragon? Which one is that?
Would it be all right if I examine these? I don't have extensive knowledge of the arcane, but I do know my histories.
Of course, go ahead.
If you like assistance, I would be glad to provide.
Certainly, another opinion is never harmful in matters of scholarly interest. Take out whichever chest they're in.
Yeah, they would have been put
Say,
back.
character, take out whichever chest they're in.
Yeah, he'll go off and grab one of the chests and bring it back.
Okay. And Alaric will open and examine these articles. Because I also, as a player, have never interacted with them, so I'm curious.
All right, let's get some history or religion. We'll give you
Hell
different
yeah.
info.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything cool I can do. I don't think so. No, I can't. I can't charm these items. So
No.
I'll just roll.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'll roll.
Can-
a
Wait,
Do you want that advantage? Or are we
If-
both just making rolls?
Does that work with history checks, Benjamin?
You guys are all just kind of checking this out and trying to puzzle over it. So sure.
Okay. I will roll. I will do a history check with these beautiful dice, ready to roll. Okay, so it's a +5 in either case. What? Ooh! Hey JJ. Hey
Good.
JJ. You sent me some pretty good dice. That's a nat 20 on the glittery.
Awesome.
Motherfucker.
So natural 20 plus 5, 25. Jesus. What
Dear
did I
God.
tell you? Setting them all to ones. It works.
Starting off strong.
Holy shit.
All right. Shit, you can find out.
Should I
If yes, if the info, the religious based info hadn't already formed your information that like, oh, this is probably a Tiamat thing, like independently you would be able to come to that conclusion.
Okay. Can you describe what these things are? Because I've not actually interacted.
Oh, okay. The crown is made of bronze, and it's got like these 5 little pokey bits, 5 little spire bits. Each of them is painted in each of like the chromatic dragon colors. And the other one is a porcelain mask. It's a pretty Think like Venetian carnival masks, but like not with a lot of decoration on it. Like, in fact, it looks like it may have once had a bunch of decoration on it. Like, you can even see like little bits of where some residual adhesive might be around the edges and stuff like that. But like, that's all either like gone to ruin or been deliberately removed from it.
Okay, and anything about the
But yeah,
the origins of these things?
definitely Tiamat based. Definitely Tiamat based. Unfortunately, like, you don't have the intensive knowledge required to see if this stuff had any specific history. Like, there aren't even any maker's marks or anything on this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as far as you know, these are not items of any specific note. But you know that they seem, the craftsmanship seems pretty good. Like, you could sell this is the sort of thing that belongs in a museum.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is the sort of thing that belongs in a museum, but like more as an art piece for a museum rather than any particular historical value.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the course of you checking out any of that sort of stuff, any, like, you're looking for carvings, you're looking for like painted on symbols and stuff like that. Like, you see absolutely none of that. So you
Okay.
don't think that these at any point would have held any sort of magical enchantment.
Okay. Well, not magical. There's that at least. Beyond what's been pointed out, I think it could be sold. They could be put in a museum if we prefer to. It does look like this mask has seen some damage, and this was a point I was curious on, Requiem. You say that you're a historian primarily. Do you believe in restoration or simply conservation?
It's a difficult line to walk, of course. Some people believe that restorative history is rewriting the narrative that has already been told, that destruction is part of the narrative. I find myself not necessarily of the same thought process. There is beauty in things that are broken, of course. I mean, crumbled statues can be a work of art in themselves. However, I do know some sisters within my sect who very much enjoy putting the pieces back together, making history whole. While I myself don't have very much skill in that department, I'm certain if it was something that you'd have interest in, that I could find someone to assist.
Well, it's good to know the options there at the very least. I don't know how much could be restored with this. There's very little of the original ornamentation left. What about you, Arwen? Do you believe these should be kept preserved, or do you think they could be better used as a source of funds? As a man of science, I mean.
I don't think they are ours to keep. I think they are part of something, a history greater than what we are here. I'm much more inclined to have them preserved somewhere and probably take the advice of our dear Requiem here. I don't know where we would store them, but I also know that we have become a target to those dragon cultists recently. So the less that they are around our person, the safer we may be.
I'm perfectly happy with that. Is there somewhere in the city these could be deposited for safekeeping, Requiem, with your people?
Absolutely.
I'm happy enough with that.
Agreed.
What of the funds then? The more liquidatable assets that we acquired?
That, since that part of the investigation is over and no one seems to have claimed any of it, I would say that if you are all amenable, we should split it amongst ourselves. Or if we feel there's better use for it, we can discuss those ideas.
Now, I was not with you at the time of the discovery of these. What's contained within these chests?
Monies.
Money. I forget exactly how much, but it's a lot.
Oh.
Did we count it?
If it's a lot, that would take
you
a
don't-
long time.
Yes.
It's several chests worth.
It's a lot.
You could take it somewhere to be weighed and counted.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, it's like a couple of thousand of copper and silver pieces.
Yeah,
Roughly.
let me copy paste the relevant bits.
I have them written down, but I wasn't
good.
sure if I should
Good,
say.
Yeah, we can say in your downtime that y'all have had the last couple of days, like you would have been able to like at least get the amounts.
Let's count them now. 1, 2, 3.
Using the Widowgast method, of course.
8,001. It's a lot of money, but it's also a lot of in copper and silver. So.
Yeah. So it's heavy.
Would Alaric or someone in the group have like a discrete banking contact that would be able to change a lot of bulk currency just into more useful portable forms?
Oh, Alaric definitely would.
Oh, good. Okay.
Ew, with a bank. Ew.
I have some friends in high places.
That voice, oh my god.
It just keeps intensifying, I swear.
It's the closer he gets to the center of the upper district, it just becomes more like this. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Alaric von Roel.
You can just feel the goatee growing bit by bit. Soon you'll have a mustache you can twirl.
I'm pretty sure every time you speak, like your hair just slicks back and it grows its own oil.
You just look more and more like Dan Backslide. The Nova Brothers. Oh, I hate Dick. I hate Larry. They drive me to drink.
It's also just good shot green. Very good.
Very good.
So,
we're getting so much done. Anyway.
So is that the plan? Do we want to try and convert it to gold and or platinum and then share it among us, or do we want to store some of it in some place, or what do we want to do?
I feel like we have more use of liquid assets at the moment than stored.
You want to buy beer?
I mean, that is among one of the things that can be acquired with such funds. If last night was any indication, we may have to set aside a significant portion just for alcohol fund. Terribly sorry the two of you missed that, by the way. We had quite an entertaining evening.
That's all right.
It sounds like it. None of it involved salted meat, did it by any chance?
I don't think so, no.
I found some jerked meat in my property when I went back, which is still ill with you. I know, probably not, but it was a bit strange to find some random meat in my property. But anyway, sounded like you had fun anyway.
You did.
I think that was when we was something to do with the dog. I think
Oh, yes.
did we throw it at the dog?
Yes, that was probably it. There was
It was
picked up a straggler last night who was trying to get into your house. Well, trying to follow us into your house, rather.
Oh, okay.
Of the four-legged variety, we were trying to provide distractions, but eventually had to yield to the superior candidate.
Hmm.
the dog one.
The dog won.
Of course.
It still kind of like looks off, slightly distant look. The dog definitely won.
Right. Okay.
But nothing. There's no meat bandit in your vicinity that you need to worry about.
Okay, good to know.
So if we were to have these funds transferred into more carryable amounts, where would we go to do that? I don't have any ties to any of the banks here.
I believe I know the right sort of people to get in touch with for that. And it's not too suspicious. This is, when you work with the Flaming Fist, I think there's a certain accepted level of assets that fall into people's pockets. There shouldn't be too much of a fuss. I'm serving my city, after all, quite proudly.
Okay.
So if we do that, and then the artifact, the other items that we found, Requiem, if you take them to the places that you know, and then all the strange cult stuff is gone then, isn't it?
Are we splitting up or are we doing one and then the other?
Perhaps smaller parties might benefit with this sort of a bit more delicate business. We don't want to be seen as a larger group.
I will say, Lissa, if you wanted to come with me, I'm certain we could find someone to intercede on your behalf better than I was able to last night.
Yeah, I'd like to try that.
I will accompany you, Alaric.
Certainly, you're more than welcome. Can't promise too much interest in the upper districts, but it's usually something. Perhaps we could have a scout of the residents of the Hunes and the Vandenpoors.
Well, go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say we do also need to discuss what we're doing about that, but I don't know if we want to wait until we meet back up or if we should discuss it now because we definitely need a plan.
Yes. I suppose the question is of where we want to focus our efforts. And perhaps setting a reasonable expectation for what kind of challenge we'll be able to take on. I'm not sure we can run straight at the Vantham-Poors. We might need to work at dismantling some of their lower down contacts. Amric was a fine start, but perhaps someone at his level, rather than going straight for the top dog.
Who else do we have?
Well, there's this Hune woman. She apparently has connections to the Hells. I'm not sure if they're directly connected, but well, her family has always had somewhat a reputation for being involved with the occult.
You want to talk with her first?
Talk or snoop, perhaps. less
Okay.
direct confrontation, more asking around, friend of a friend, that sort of thing. I'm not terribly talented at that. I might need to call on some of my relatives to see if they've heard any interesting gossip.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing in the immediate? You guys are taking money to be converted into more usable types of money.
Yes, splitting up, so it's Alaric and Arwen that are going up to the banks.
Okay.
And then...
Does Istalil want to go to the bank, or does Istalil want to get his god on?
do you want to get
Is-
right with Christ?
Isla would rather go to the bank.
That's valid. I'm sure we could have found, like some kind of Lolth situation. If you want to really get racist, if you want to get super racist.
Wrong end of the spectrum, I think.
Oh god.
What's the other one? Fucking Moon Mom.
Yeah, he's Moon Mom.
I'm sure there could be a Moon Mom situation. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Oh god, her.
It's so hard to pronounce.
Oh, it's the impossible to pronounce one.
It's just illustrate, right? No need to...
I've always read it as illustrate, but like it says literally on the wiki page, there are
Illustrate.
several different pronunciations.
Yeah.
It's
I was gonna
illustrate.
call her the Dark Maiden or Moon Mom. It's
Moon
so
Mom.
Moon Mom.
Mummy.
Moon Mom.
So we split up.
Yes, that's always a good idea. Let's do it.
All right.
The boys and the girls.
Plus, you're
Yeah.
gonna need a bit of help transporting the chests.
Yes. Should we hire a cart, perhaps? I'm sure there's a...
That's not
Oh, yeah.
bad. Plus, we have our badges, so no one's really gonna question us.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps in the upper city. Those are the people that pay the Flaming Fists bills, so you don't want to be posturing with that badge around nobles, but I'm
Oh
sure
no,
the
that's why
lower
we have
city-
you.
Yes, I am the one. I'm the badge.
All right. Yeah. You guys can hire out somebody with a cart, like a rickshaw kind of situation, and get this money to the bank and get it converted into whatever the fuck you want converted into.
Gold.
Yes. I was just gonna say they probably don't have a ton of platinum available for little things like this, but you can definitely convert all of that into gold.
Wonderful.
And so, rest of you guys are going to the temple to the small gods to hand over these relics.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm curious. Requiem, like how much time do you actually spend at the temple to the small gods? Because like this is really the only place in town for your form of worship going on, and it's tiny and it's a shared space.
Yeah.
They're probably desperate for volunteers to keep it running.
Yeah, I would say over the past month, she's probably spent like a solid, like half of her time there, because at this point, it's been like, just like kind of not knowing what to do, kind of trying to figure out what's going on, a little bit of a, hey, what's my holy mission? Hey, God, can it be to get my mom back? Like, It's been part of the time volunteering, the other part of the time just kind of wandering the city until something happens, which it has.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You know, this is how you do religion. You live your life, you look for signs.
yeah, it's been a lot of... And you know how she is about fucking omens. It's very much been any time that hasn't been spent either assisting in restoration as much as she can or giving worship has all just been basically just like frantically keeping her eyes open for something. Just legit wandering.
Just wandering with a capital W.
Yeah, so it's like 2.5 weeks altogether of time spent there.
Okay,
And
all
then
right.
2.5 weeks of just fucking looking like a crazy person.
Well, you're in Baldur's Gate. You're not alone.
Hey.
Hey. All right. So when you show up to the temple to the small gods, there are a few people that you know that work here, and the person that is there currently is Bendane Merman, who is just this really he's like getting up there in years, just this dark-haired dwarvish man who is like actually pretty cheery a lot of the time, and like is the designated priest to the reliquary that is here. Doesn't run the establishment, but is being the manager for today.
Good.
But yeah, you can absolutely hit up this guy. And how are you approaching this? I'm curious. Just like being like, hey, we found this shit. Can we do something with this? Question mark.
It's going to definitely be given more in the sense of an offering rather than a hey, take this off my hands kind of a thing. Because that's definitely what Requiem sees this as, oh, I've managed to cajole the group into allowing me to present 2 offerings to my temple. Excellent. So it's very much like I would like these to be back where they were taken from, but that is not a safe place at this moment. And anything that we can get out of the hells before it's destroyed is an act of divine intervention. So have some fucking dragon shit, my dude.
Have some fucking dragon shit. Yeah, he's absolutely happy to take it, and like we'll definitely mention that like we don't have the resources right now to like actually do any of the proper restoration because all that shit's in Elturel, and Elturel is not available right now.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be just like she sort of like takes his hands for a moment. It's just like it will be back.
It will be back.
It will be back. Creepy
It will
shit,
be back.
You know.
Sure. But yeah, he seems pleased by this and like reassures you that they're going to be put somewhere safe until like we can get them to the people that can actually do something with this. And like thanks you a bunch and insists you stay for tea.
That does lead me to have a question, though. My friend here, Lissa,
I wave.
is looking for some answers that I've been able to get some intervention on, but nothing I've been able to interpret on my own. And I was wondering if perhaps, if not the reliquary herself, then perhaps one of our friends here at the temple would like to give it a shot. See if they can be of any assistance where I fail.
Yeah, what kind of guidance are you looking for?
Lissa?
I don't really know. I have a lot of missing memories. And I was wondering if anyone knows what happened to them.
Hmm. And it just like pours you guys some tea. And just goes, have you ever tried a greater restoration?
That sounds powerful.
I don't know, it works sometimes. If somebody's memory's been messed around with. Like, are you missing time or are you missing everything beyond a certain point?
Everything.
Everything. Okay. All right. That sounds like a big thing. Where are you staying? There's not a lot of people in today, especially not who would specialize in stuff like that, but can definitely let you know when somebody's going to be in.
Okay.
All right, where are you staying?
I don't know. In town somewhere.
You can like leave Arwen's address.
Sure, but we've not been staying there constantly.
Yeah.
So we've not been moving around. But I'll say
Mhm.
usually Arwen's address, but sometimes not there.
All right. Cool.
Leave a message for me there, probably.
All right.
You can speak to my secretary, Arwen.
Yep. All right, so that all goes down. You've got some money. You've got
Yes.
some stuff dropped off.
What is the precise numeration? I don't think we ever got the numerals.
JJ, do you have that written down, or should I copy paste it?
I do. So it was. I mean, there's maths involved, but it was 4,500 copper in the first chest. In the second chest, 1,250 silver. And then in the third chest, 2,400 copper and 500 silver. So, whatever that maths is.
Okay.
Oh, there's also some gemstones. I'm just gonna copy paste.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
I'd
yeah.
like to say, while I'm at the temple, I am giving 100 of my gold to them.
Hell yes.
10 gems, you said?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
10 gems,
Yay.
10 gold each.
Okay. 10 gems, 10 gold. Okay, so this is easy enough. So we take 45, so it's 100 copper and 10 silver to a gold. Whew, okay. So this is 4 gold. 5. And 50. And then... Okay, those are the gold amounts. This is the best part of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, plus another 45 gold.
Plus another 45. plus 50 plus 100 plus 45?
Yes.
45. Divide by how many of us are there? So the total is is 348 gold and 5 silver. Final totals, and divided by a party of 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that comes. Oh, nice! That comes out to 69.
Nice,
69
nice.
gold, 7 silver each.
Okay.
Tight as hell. Oh wait, no. Maybe ignore the 7 silver. And then it's 69 and then 1. Hang on, no, I should do that again without the 0.5 because that confuses everything. It might not be 69. I'm not sure I'll be able to cope with that emotionally. 48 divided by 5. Okay, no, it's 69. 69.6. So that goes up to it's 70 gold and 1 silver each. Is that right? No, sorry.
Loves dungeons.
Do you want me to do? You know what?
60. No. It's I've literally got it's 69 gold and 7 silver each. There you go.
You're right the first time?
I guess, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let me put that in the Discord for future reference.
What was the thing I was supposed to buy that I keep forgetting to
Oh,
get?
a pike. Get a pike.
A pike.
Okay. So let's go to church and then buy some weapons.
Were you counting the gemstones in that total?
Yes, I believe
I'm checking your math.
because it was 10 gemstones that were each 10 GP each.
Dan confidently proclaims the amount we got. Leto.
Fuck off. I'm pretty sure this is correct. Who's to say? Listen, math is fake.
I'm getting 68.8.
Well, that's a less funny number, so you're wrong.
We can round up to exactly 69 gold each.
Beautiful. Okay, that works.
There we go. All right.
276. Now to go and spend it all. Shopping spree.
Shopping episode. All right. So yeah, you can absolutely spend whatever time acquiring items within reason. If there's anything special that you guys want, definitely let me know. Arwen, did you want to acquire any inks and paper? Because you have all those spell books.
I do, don't I? I need to get something. Hang on.
While you're thinking, do we have a plan for these vials of fire breath? Did we do something with them, or are we just holding on to them?
I mean, who knows when one might need to suddenly be able to belch infernal death upon one's enemies.
Mad I never got to use that in the other campaign.
All right. What would you guys like to do bigger plan-wise?
Research the
How are you going about doing this? Do you want to stake out their place? Do you want to talk to people? Do you want to go through historical records?
Should I?
You want to gossip.
I'm. It's. I mean, I think we should maybe gossip a little bit. Let's be bad.
I'm willing to go through historical records.
Yes, let's have a multi-pronged approach. And I could always. I can't promise that it won't be a biased perspective, but I could always speak. I could always speak to my father about it.
You could also speak to your aunt about it.
Could also. Alex's father is more like the social one, though. He knows.
Yeah, but don't you want to have a good conversation with your aunt?
I do, but also I don't want that to be half the session. And I feel like there's a lot to talk about there.
Would you be okay doing that though? Talking to your family.
Yeah, I mean, to certain degrees, yes. This is an important matter. There's I think there's the motivation. This is an assignment by the Flaming Fist and all that, and I think it might not be a bad idea, but I'm not sure if it's our first line of inquiry. But I could go and do that while other things are happening.
I have no idea how I can help in this situation. Most of the contacts I have are in the lower city. They wouldn't know anything about the upper city, I don't think.
You could stake out their place.
Let me look at my skills. I mean, I'm not too bad at that. Do we want somebody watching their place?
I
We
mean, I
could.
think it could be valuable to know who goes in and out for the Vanthampur residents.
Is there a way to look like I'm not a creeper? Is there like a place nearby that I can watch from, or am I doing this from being super secretive and sneaky? Because I don't know the layout of the upper city.
Yeah, thing with the upper city is the Vanthampur place is right there. It's like right next to the main government building, and it's also very close to like the guard outpost that's here. There is, however, a tavern right across the street. So you could hang out there.
I could grab a book and some ink, and I could pretend I'm a writer. And just sit there for a while, writing while drinking.
You do look like a poet.
You'd be amazed. I can put my hair up, and I'll look even more scholarly.
One of those buns that's so in fashion with the.
Not a bun. Braids are easier to do. I don't like buns. They make my head an odd shape. But yeah, if everyone's okay with that, I can go and just stake out their home and see who comes and goes.
Certainly. Should that be a one-man mission, or maybe keep it minimum of 2 just for safety's sake?
Whoever wants to come along can come along.
I guess I can.
Okay. All right, then I'm gonna have to go put on my nicer clothes. Are weapons permitted in the upper city?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm still going to have my sword on me.
It's the nice part of town, but it's still Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. It's like, if you don't have at least a knife on you at all times, you're a fucking idiot and deserve to be murdered.
Christ.
Oh, that reminds me.
The bodyguard business is booming in the upper city.
All right. So, yeah, Selden will go up to this tavern where he was told it was across the street from this house, and he will pretend to be a writer and writing in his book while he discreetly watches the house with Lissa. That should be interesting.
Okay, so perception for stakeout team. Did you roll? Nobody rolled.
Not yet.
Somebody plays roll.
I'll roll
Journey's
with
rolling
advantage.
with advantage.
Yep, there we go. 22.
22 is pretty good. All right. So about the place, from what you can see for the street, it's right on the corner, across the street from the main government buildings, and also across the street from the tavern that you're hanging out in. There's a big stone wall around the place, so you can't see a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 12-foot high wall around the place. It does have several entrances, though. There is... Let me call up the place. All right, so on the street you guys are at, you can keep an eye on two of the entrances.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is like a walk-in gate that is open, and that leads to like the front door and everything. Another one is like a carriage gate that is a bit bigger, that is just iron bars, and it is closed and locked. At one point, you go strolling around towards the back of it and see that there is like another small little back entrance going on. And as you're looking, and you can see through the closed iron gate, and you can see through the open one in front, there are guards that patrol around it. They go in pairs or in trios, and they circle around the grounds. So definitely a guard presence, like even in the afternoon, like it is. In terms of activity that you can see into the windows in the upper floor. And who the fuck's bedrooms are on that side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you can see in the one bedroom there. In the one room, there appears to be a small little study. You can see people walking through there at a couple of times in the day. You see an old woman walk through and like get something off the bookshelf and leave. There's a little balcony that's on this side of the building as well. That's got like a couple of chairs and a little bistro table set out there. And the other room that you can see, there is an older gentleman who is just sitting at a desk and doing some reading. You can also see guards inside the building too.
Okay.
Yeah. And
this is like heavily fortified stuff.
Yeah.
Guards everywhere.
it's not so much like heavily fortified. If you were to lay siege weapons to this place, for instance, but it's heavily patrolled.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I apologize.
Yeah, it's heavily
patrolled.
Yeah, it's heavily patrolled, and like, yeah, upstairs you can't really see any house staff doing their thing, but like are definitely keeping a really close eye on it, and like. In terms of individual guards that you see, you can like clock people's builds and faces, and you see at least 8 different unique people.
I'm keeping a tally of this all in my book that I'm writing.
Nice.
Is that including inside and outside?
That's including, yeah. So, guards in the yard, they do a patrol, and they are not alone. And there's also people inside.
Are they also in pairs and stuff, or are they alone?
Hard to tell because you're looking through just the windows on the upper floor. Yeah, but you over the course of you staking out the place, you don't actually see anybody coming or going.
We don't see anyone coming or out at all.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's a lot of guards for one home.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's if the other side is more active with people coming and going. We've only got one side of this.
Do you want to go look?
Nope, I'd rather not press our luck.
I will telepathically speak to you. I could make us invisible for a couple of hours.
Oh, that would be very handy.
Do you want to, or should we go back with the information first? And
we can do the invisible thing and go around the property, but we won't go anywhere near it so we can save ourselves some trouble.
okay. So you want to go somewhere hidden and go invisible and then take a look around?
We can do that.
Well, we will do that.
We will try to find a little secluded area where Lissa can turn us invisible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a bunch of little alleyways and stuff like that you can duck into for a second.
Yeah, I use twin spell to make us both invisible.
Hell
Oh, very cool.
All right, so you guys are invisible, and I'm just gonna let that perception check ride just because it's easier.
Okay.
Yep. The back entrance also has a little bit of an iron gate going on, like the stable entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just walking past, and like you can definitely hear ambient horse noises. And like there are a couple of little windows back here that lead to a stable.
Okay.
Yeah. And you see you don't hear like a lot of activity going on in here at the moment, but like there is a chimney coming off of here, and there seems to be like a fire burning.
Okay.
Yeah. So you think it might be to keep the horses warm. You think it could possibly be like a little forge situation for horseshoes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Is this stable a separate building, or is it connected to the main building?
It's against the outer wall.
Okay.
Yeah. You peek inside and see like stalls and stuff.
All right, we'll do an entire 360 around the property, and then if there's nothing else we can find out, we will head off.
How tall is the wall?
12 feet.
Okay.
I guess you could attempt to throw Lissa over the wall.
I mean, probably won't go out.
No filtration.
Why would I
It's the
throw
fast-
my gnome
It's the
friend?
fastball special. It's a classic.
Mhm.
I mean,
D&D
here's the thing.
classic.
If it succeeded, I would be trapped. So,
the front gate is open. You could be very quiet and walk.
yeah. But, eventually I would turn invisible, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Got more than one spell slot.
Do
Look,
you want to
we're
head
only
back?
level 3.
Do you want to head back to the others and let them know what we found out?
Yeah, I don't think we can find out much else.
Not without going inside, and somehow I don't think us just being invisible is going to help us in there.
No.
And we will head back to we'll say the rendezvous point would be Istalil's house for later on in the evening.
All right. Ooh. Now that I'm looking at the map, there's another detail that you guys will be able to notice. It's a 2-floor place, but it also has a small little tower, almost like a bell tower.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see too much of what's going on there because of the angle, and you guys like being on the ground floor, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But you see something that could be like a box, or yeah, you see like something that could be like a box. Maybe it's like an attic storage place or something like that. But
Okay.
It could be a box where, sorry?
there's like a small little tower thing
Okay.
that's coming up above the second floor.
Just to be clear, when we say second floor, are we talking ground first, second? Or are we talking?
There's ground floor, upper floor, and then tower floor.
Okay.
All right. Are there any buildings nearby that look like they are the same height as the tower or go above the tower?
The government building across the street might, but you might have a tricky time getting in there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. We'll head back to Istalo's place.
All right, so what's everybody else doing?
I would like to clarify for my own personal sanity, and also for the benefit of my fine team member Requiem. Has the purchase of the pike been officially made?
Let us do it now. The purchase of the pike is officially made at this particular moment. I'm going into eye for item. I'm typing in pike. I am getting a pike. I'm putting it in my inventory. It is accepting drop from compendium. I am now in possession of a pike.
Fuck yeah.
You've done it.
Do I have to look up how much they cost? Absolutely. I'm typing in pike. Cost 5e. Okay, I trust you as a person.
So you now have a d10 damage dice. It is a heavy weapon. It is a reach weapon, which means you can stab people that are further away, and it is a two-handed weapon exclusively.
Okay.
While we're talking about shopping, did we want to get some more health potions?
Oh god, yes.
That
please.
is probably a good plan. I have 0 health potions.
I take offense to that, but also sure.
Hey, look, they saved our lives in the past when you weren't here. So
That's super true.
We have one person in the party that can heal.
You ain't wrong.
I'm all you should need.
I'm so sorry. You're the person that stops us from bleeding out, and these are the things that we can like recover a bit of health with. Man, I need to I've got the wisdom. I need to multi-class into cleric. Oh
You should have been the one to go to the temple.
I should have. Get right with Christ.
You know what? We can say that at the temple to the small gods, like in exchange for these relics that you've dropped off, they're happy to provide you with one, in parentheses, one potion of healing.
I'm keeping that on my person because I'm the responsible one in the party.
How dare you?
I trust you, Lissa. However, you're also
Thank you.
short and can't run as fast, although I do love you.
Hey, I can run as fast as you. I'm still fast. I'm just not very strong.
I feel like I'm less likely to go down.
I mean, that's fair, but I take offense to that.
Okay, I apologize for the offense and also will not give you the potion.
Also, you could just tell the rest of the party, hey, I've got a potion in this specific pocket. If I get knocked
Oh,
down,
yeah.
please pour it in my mouth, please.
Yeah, I figure all parties do that, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, potion of healing.
this is the
Next to my
emergency
pipe.
potion pocket.
Okay. The potion of healing is in my priest pack. I'm keeping it with my candles and my incense. It'll smell good.
Please do not attempt to make me eat a candle.
Yeah, please do not attempt to make me eat a candle. I will eat it in my sleep like that dude eating a cigarette. That's how it works. I'll
What?
have to track down the video later.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like over the course of the day, you guys can also go to the campus bookstore again and purchase 2 more potions of healing.
Beautiful.
You are their primary source of business at this point.
How much are crossbow bolts?
I think it's a gold for 20, if memory serves.
Oh, geez,
By
okay.
200.
I'm missing a couple, but like I don't.
Oh, yep, I was correct. It is 1 gold for 20.
Nice.
Oh,
We can stack up.
yeah. I'll go ahead and spend a gold and get one.
Get a bundle.
Who's taking these healing potions and who's paying for them? Are we taking like 20 gold each, or?
Yeah, we can pay them communally, right? It's like 100 gold. Divided by 5.
Yeah, if everybody chips in 20 gold, you can get them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then who wants to hold them?
Who's holding them? One
What's
person?
happening? Sorry, what?
Yeah, you still should have one.
This should have one. We're splitting up potions. Also take 20 gold off your sheet. For
Oh, okay.
potions.
We're buying 2 more potions of healing.
All right.
Okay, one for Stilil, one for who's the most trustworthy?
I think I'm the slowest, so I don't think it should be me. I only have
Okay.
25 feet speed, so I'm not
Lissa,
running
do
very
you
well.
want the other one?
I'll take it if you don't want it. If you want it, I will let you have it.
I'm trying to think of how survivable. Yeah, you can have it. You've only got D6 hit dice. You can have it.
Okay. I'll keep it safe.
Should probably put my hit points back up to full, considering we slept.
That would be a good idea.
Yes.
Whilst they were doing the stakeout for Arwen, Arwen would have said to Alaric and Requiem, unless you need me for anything specific, I'm going to look through the spell books because I'm going to try and learn at least one of the spells. It takes a while and it does involve some concentration. So if you don't need me, I might just stay in Nistilil's house and work on that.
Certainly, yes.
So I'm gonna
Power your arsenal.
spend 50 gold and I'm 2 hours and I'm gonna transcribe the feather fall into my book.
Nice. Good spell to
choice.
have.
Yeah, good one to have.
Oh, now you can throw Lissa over the wall, and she'll be fine.
Yeah.
She won't get She won't get killed this time. She won't get killed by the full damage. She'll just get
Yeah.
killed by the stabs from all of the guards and the swords that they have.
It'll give the guards time to
All
prep.
Special.
Yeah, it'll be able to line up crossbow shots just right, while very slowly falling.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. All right. So, Alaric, what are you doing?
Oh, I guess I'm gonna go check in with the fam.
You gonna go check in with the fam?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time, unfortunately. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna avoid his aunt if he can.
Leto, does the whole family sound like Alaric? Do you have to do the same voice for a whole family of characters?
It's just gonna be the
Oh,
worst thing to
hello,
listen to in the
son.
world.
My beautiful boy. Very nice to see
Please,
you.
please don't do that while I'm drinking. Please. For the sake of my keyboard, don't do this.
So I'm probably gonna get in touch with. Alaric would get in touch with his father Bertram and maybe his older brother, because they're both more of the like they're gossips basically. Like they've got their finger on the pulse with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to basically inquiring after oh Bertram, oh fuck.
That was the first thing I
Shut
thought.
up.
I was like,
Now I've got to change it. No, now it's
No, you don't have to change it. This is different.
just an appreciation.
Listen. It's fine. So get in touch with Bertram, get in touch with Carsten, and see what the word on the street is. Both kind of like touching base with the not the Von Hunes, the Hune family. Like if there's anything interesting, and definitely the Vanthempers, if they've been making waves socially, or if they're like keeping suspiciously sort of to the letter of the law. If that makes sense, like presenting a very put together front of house.
I'm curious, do either of them have jobs?
Yeah. But I mean, his father is the head of a noble house, so that probably has that probably counts as a day job. Carsten, his day job is being a bohemian and gossiping in salons, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Occupation bohemian.
Yep. Oh. God. Alright, so yeah, you can absolutely track them down and like have a nice afternoon tea with them. Nice for some people, not so nice for others. The tea itself is nice.
Yeah. Alaric is if composure was a stat in D&D, he would be rolling composure checks.
Yep. Okay. So about the Hunes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And this particular Hune, like what's her story? Because she's a Theon Hune, right? Theon Hune.
Yes.
Like, what's the story behind that? What's her family history like?
Checking over the notes and stuff.
And also like talking about kind of like statuses as well. Like could some sort of political move be made? And not obviously not asking in these blatant terms, but like could a political move be made against either of these two? In a sort of socially acceptable way.
Okay. So from what you know going in, the Hune family is currently very small. As in 2 people level of small. They have a lot of supporting staff, and they used to be larger, but people move out, people marry outside of the family and stuff like that. Sometimes people pass away of old age. Satir, Karsten lets you know that Satir has not actually been seen around any of the salons and stuff like that for about 3 weeks now. And she usually is, because she's old and needs something to do with her goddamn time.
Okay.
But straight up has not been seen, and nobody seems to know what's up with that. It's is she on a vacation? What's going on? They let you know that their place was broken into a little while ago, and some stuff was stolen.
Any gossip about who might have been responsible?
There are theories, but no backing information.
Okay, so it's well, I heard that it was,
Yeah. You got your conspiracy theories going on. Because of course you gotta have your conspiracy theories going on. You have to have something to talk about at all of these fucking salons. Yeah, Satir hasn't been seen around. Lutetia has been seen around. She
Lutetia?
is Lutetia. Let me copy
Is that
paste
the other member of the Hune family?
Yes. Just these old ladies. These very old ladies. Going on. She's been seen around her place with her staff and stuff like that. And of course there is the gossip about oh, she must be so old and so lonely, and she keeps such attractive staff around.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so definitely discussions of oh, this is so improper, how she's being this much of a cougar. It's we haven't actually found anything, but
has there been any talk about disappearances amongst the staff? Or any sort of irregularities with behavior, maybe?
Yeah, you bringing that up definitely gets them into full-on conspiracy theory mode.
Okay.
You made a mistake. And just a lot of talking about oh, this is what happens when you get involved in secret societies irresponsibly.
Yeah, okay. Forget my family that are all...
Yeah. It's you gotta have protections in place. You gotta let people know if you're going to be performing any weird rituals.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta make sure that your staff is okay with what you're doing, so you don't have to disappear them.
And they are then noted as members, that they have that the note that is in my part, they are, at least among my family, they're known to sort of have connections to an outer sort of an outer power, basically.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's your day.
Okay, fun.
Satir not been seen for 3 weeks. Their place got broken into. Also about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. Anything about the Vanthempers? beyond just usual gossip?
Seems to be business as usual with them.
Okay.
Are you going to tell them?
No.
Got arrested?
Man, if I don't trust the cops with that, how the fuck would I trust my family?
But yeah, and they do ask you a bunch of questions about this bullshit job that you're on.
Yes.
And like definitely tease you about this being a bullshit job.
Okay, good.
And seem to take pleasure in your suffering.
I mean, what's family for, really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's great that you have this little hobby of playing policeman. That's adorable.
Alaric laughs very stiffly at all of these remarks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Alright. Yep. What's Requiem been doing throughout this time? Is Gray here?
I am. I had to throw my headphones on. So I am not a scholar. I don't have access to library archives. I would like to try though, and just, hope they let me in because I'm very polite. I want to dig up these bitches' dirt. I want to get dirt.
Dort on who?
I thought we were going after the Humes next. I don't know if it's an M or an N, so I just don't pronounce that letter.
It's double H-U-N-E.
U-N-E? Okay. Hume. Okay. God, I fucking hate fantasy names.
Well,
yeah.
that's not any weirder than a lot of real names.
Yeah, I was just confused because I have a teacher that if you took out one of the silent H's and changed the N to an M, that's actually his name.
Oh, okay.
He's a Czech man. But, yeah, I want to do... If we said that we were going to go after some of the smaller families first, I would like to see where their connections lie. I do remember Alaric talking about how their families were kind of in competition a little bit because one of them is fucking doomsday preppers, and I don't know what the Hunes are up to, but he made it sound unsavory.
You could have asked. You probably could have asked if you wanted to beforehand. If you think Requiem would have been direct about it.
When is she not direct about everything? So yeah, I guess I would have asked Alaric beforehand, just like, and what am I looking for?
Well, they do have interest into the occult. It has been noted for quite some time. Go into a little bit of the history between the two families. There's a rivalry. It goes back quite a ways. At the moment, we're the Von Rausch have the upper hand, but the humans are not without their allies, and in particular, they have a particular dedication in their worship and their studies that we do not. A figure known as the Hidden Lord.
The Hidden what?
The Hidden Lord. I don't know too much beyond the name, but they have a particular focus in their eldritch fascinations.
Can I religion roll that shit to see if I know who the fuck that is?
Go for it.
Okay. Chelsea, choose a die.
It's gonna roll a one.
Yeah, roll it, Chell.
Hell yeah.
You did not that great, but I still love you. If I add my bonus, that is a 17.
That's a 17.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You think you may
includes the word hidden.
It does include the word hidden. You think you may have encountered the name once before, but you can't for the life of you remember where. You think it was in the context of, like, traditional secret society type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you've had no direct interaction. You read it in a book once.
Okay, that's valid. So if your families are in conflict, shut the fuck up, Chelsea Gavin.
I just smiled.
If your families are in direct conflict, then
It's more of a unfriendly rivalry.
then do you know their intentions? If the intention of your family is an apocalypse of sorts.
It's I don't know if that is the basis for the conflict. It's one of these things that goes back a bit further than people, maybe this current generation really has the memory of, and was simply told that, we're in conflict with these people because that's how it's always been. We detest them, and I'm in agreement that they're rancid hacks, don't have any true understanding of the arcane nature of the world, but really it's more of a friendly, well, no, not a friendly, a bitter rivalry, but not a there would never be direct action taken between the two houses, at least not until perhaps now.
All right, well, if I can go back and find the source, maybe that will give me some insight into their cult activities, giving
That
us
might be
a reason to go in. And
I could speak to my aunt. There's a lot of conversations waiting there.
well, I will say, for someone who doesn't necessarily know the breadth of their own arcane abilities, I wouldn't be so quick to pass judgment. Toodles. Trot, 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 trot.
Library. Arms full of books on secret societies.
How many books are you allowed to check out from this library? Is it 1 million?
They're reference books, unfortunately. You're not allowed to leave with them.
Oh, trash.
They're literally chained to the shelves.
They're not literally chained to the shelves, but they've got people at the entrances in case you try to leave with a book. They'll search your bags.
They find my brand new potion. I will agree to check my weapon at the door, considering I have 2 now.
There you go.
That's how Theoden got fucked.
Shut up. So yeah, I'm gonna just fucking read some books.
Read some books. Make an investigation check.
Okay. Am I good at those? Is my investigation plus 12 like it used to be? No.
You are not a rogue.
I'm not a rogue.
I am not a rogue.
Okay, that's dog trash. That's 9.
That's a 9.
That's Mamma Mia. That's a 9.
That's a 9. You just get really, really caught up in the hierarchy of angels. You just end up doing a deep dive on that.
We've all
I Wikipedia sidetrack. I'm writing down now that I know a lot about the hierarchy of angels now that you've said I do.
fail
You're gonna pull
forward.
some shit out. Exactly. I'm failing forward.
You're failing forward.
And treasure next to a spool of black thread that never runs out. I'm writing the knowledge.
The knowledge of the
treasure.
hierarchy of angels. There you go. That's what you've done with your day.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm so helpful to the party.
You know, those angel cults. Well, the difference between it's devil cults and angel secret societies is what it is.
Wow.
It's branding.
What is
Same
it?
thing.
Celestial versus Infernal. I hope that some of these texts are in Celestial.
Oh,
At least.
definitely.
Okay.
At the very least, they've got excerpts.
Good.
Like traditional prayers with translations.
Starts
And like you
changing the
being
library.
able, yeah, like you being able to actually read Celestial, you're just going like, that's not actually quite right. This translation is a bit off.
Translates Celestial into Infernal into Common.
Oh dear God. A disaster.
Celestial into Infernal into Abyssal into Common.
Oh no. If you want to complete the circuit, you gotta go Sylvan as well.
That's the one I don't have. I'll get there. I'll get the Sylvan.
One day.
Okay, well I'm useless.
There you go.
You got a bigger spear now, though.
Oh yeah, no. I got a big spear and a big brain and a bigger dick.
And devotion.
And a potion.
How about you?
Potion, Sarah.
Alright, so you guys converge at Istadil's house right around the time when Arwen is finishing up the spell scribing.
Well, I'll welcome you all back to his home, but still, I'll welcome you. Productive day, everyone?
You could say that, yeah. That house is pretty much... There are guards everywhere. I counted at least 8 different guards. They're paired up outside, and they patrol inside as well.
Well, seems we can at least be certain they have someone or something there that they think needs protecting beyond their family jewels.
What about everyone else? How did all of your work go?
Alaric looks notably more exhausted than the last time you saw him. There are slight creases in his mouth, like he's been having to smile politely too much.
Joy's going to go grab a glass of whiskey for him.
I had afternoon tea with my family, some of my family members. Found some very interesting things out about the recent actions or inactions of the Hunes. Seems so. Amric initially told us that there was that Lady Satir had knowledge of travel between the planes, and whether this is still the case, whether he had old information, according to the gossip and the multiple sources of gossip, meaning it's at least slightly reliable. It would seem that Lady Satir has not been seen in public, at the very least, for almost 2 weeks now. There's also been was a break-in at their residence around the same time, so it's quite possible that something, either something has befallen her, or she has is currently indisposed on a different plane of existence.
That's an interesting thought.
It is interesting how everything is happening within these 2 weeks.
Yes, the fall, the disappearance, the overseer coming to Baldur's Gate. There's something. There's something. Oh, 3 weeks ago. There you go.
And Requiem, how did she get on your particular mission?
Well, didn't find anything about the Humes, but did you know that planetars can call down a plague of locusts? Isn't that just an interesting fun fact?
I did not know a planetar could call down a plague of locusts.
Oh, yes. I didn't get very far in what I wanted to find out. However, I still feel like I had a productive day.
Well, if you still feel that way, then good. So where does this leave us?
Well, it leaves us with a possible line of inquiry at the household of the Humes.
It also leaves us with a potential line of inquiry with the Flaming Fists if we wanted to talk about the break-in.
That is true. That could be a good pretense for the investigation.
That would be.
It does all link together. Amric gave us the name, after all, and he's in custody now. So perhaps,
What was the other name? There was one.
Crow. Krala?
Krull. We got there. Krull.
Yes, that was the benefactor of the shipments, the chests that we just liquidated.
Oh, okay. That seems like something we probably should look into.
I can see it's only not much to that name that can be followed up on. Perhaps Easterlil, you have contacts in and around the lower cities, yes?
Yes.
Perhaps if he was involved with the cult activity and the supply-demand chain, you could inquire.
I could try.
Put some feelers out, perhaps.
I can do that.
And I do like this idea of using the break-in and speaking with the Flaming Fist as a guise to starting our point of inquiry down there.
It does sound like a good idea to go with.
This raises the question of if the Flaming Fist aren't appreciative of our work. Do we continue?
I guess the answer to that depends on how invested we are in all of this.
Well, I'm very invested, so you know my answer.
I believe I'm invested in this as well.
I think regardless of the Flaming Fist, I would be wanting to look into what's happening with the Humes and the Phantompurs. I think we all expressed an interest this morning. This isn't something that we're doing because we're bound by some citizen's duty. I think we have our own interests at heart here.
I believe you're right.
Well, if there's time in the day, shall we try to track down Zodge for a consultation?
Sure. We should get our next step moving.
Trot, 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 trot.
Yeah, trot to find Dodge.
That's just the transition sound.
It is. There are horses. Horses go by in the foreground.
No, horses do not go by in the foreground. There are no horses allowed
There are
in the
no
city.
horses. No horses allowed in Baldur's
Wait,
Gate.
there are no horses allowed in Baldur's Gate?
No.
What about but I still clip clop. Are they
Oh.
gonna fucking snatch my leg for clip clopping down the street?
Oh no, you're allowed to keep your legs.
Okay.
You are not a
Very
horse.
generously.
Very generously permitted to keep my legs.
What's the rule? There's no creature
No,
larger than a peacock.
Exactly.
Why?
Because people love fancy bitches love peacocks.
Goat lady. Fancy bitch. I know fancy bitches love peacocks, but why do fancy bitches not like horses?
Horses are a mess. They're a mess.
So is crime, but Baldur's Gate doesn't seem to have a fucking problem
Listen,
with
they
that.
decided either we can eliminate horses or eliminate crime, and they made that fucking decision.
And they made the right goddamn one.
No horses,
Horse,
all
I love
crime.
crime.
The horses at the Vanthemper place are like out of the 20 that exist, 2 of them live there.
Damn.
So if we if
Contraband
a horse ends
horses.
up dying, that's like a mage. There's citywide outcry. It's like a little Sebastian. There's a funeral held.
I think next plan should be to steal and fence the Vanthemper's horses.
Steal the horses. Those will be a pretty hot ticket, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. If we make the horses invisible and I'm walking on cobblestones with them, people will just think it's me.
Dear God, you're right.
Oh my God.
Benefits of having a teammate with hooves.
You just have to tap dance real fast.
Yeah, this is
I
a
will
plan
tap
for
dance
later
through
in
the
the
streets
campaign.
to steal a horse.
When one of us has seeming, and we can make all of us look like horses.
Soft shoe? No. Horseshoe.
Oh man.
Anyway, all that was a tangent from trying to very quickly get to the next conversation with Zod.
All right. So, are you asking Zod about the break-in at the human place? Is that your tack here?
Yeah, probably.
All right. You can find the actual police report on. Well, you're not so much you're not so much given the police report as you are directed to whom you can talk to in the upper city about such things. And gives you a note saying hey, on my authority you can go and talk to these people because mall cops aren't usually allowed to talk to these people.
Okay.
So you guys end up going back to the upper city to the Watch Citadel and taking a look through the police records and stuff like that, and find out the exact date when the Hewn house was broken into and this was reported. The thing that was reported to have been stolen is a shield, quote unquote, a shield.
Shield.
And apparently that was the only thing taken. Yeah, the Watch is investigating, but they're investigating the way a city dealing with a lot of shit right now investigates. It's very low on their priority list.
Is there a record of who handled this, who would have been in contact with whatever the taking the description of this beyond a shield, whoever actually spoke to the Hewns?
There's a rough description of it. They're approximate dimensions.
Okay.
And a specific maker's mark description going on. Yeah, it's nothing that immediately jumps to mind as being significant.
Okay.
But
And
identifiable should you encounter it.
And could we track down like the person that took these statements, like the constable or whatever that would have done this busy work?
Sure, you can do that.
Okay.
What would you like to get?
If we're talking to this person, like an idea of the sort of demeanor of the Hunes, like how they see who in particular they spoke to. Generally, if it seemed like there was something going on their end beyond just a robbery.
Yeah, the person that they spoke to when making this police report was Lutetia, and there was a note that she seemed quote unquote volatile.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently a very important shield.
So shall we offer to take this case off the Flaming Fist's hands as our next case?
I think if we can convince Zodge that there's a connection there, that would be for the best.
Seems like a plan.
So we'll go back and find Zodge and take the case reference down, or the report number, or the file number, whatever.
Yeah.
And have a conversation with Zodge to ask if we can. It's low on their list. You know?
Let him know that that Amric provided Satir as a reference during the conversations that were had with him. The interrogation, rather, that being the appropriate term.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused.
So Amric, the guy that we arrested,
Yeah.
gave Satir's name as a hey, you should speak to this person in regards to stuff like involving the Hells and particularly transport between planes. And if there's that sort of stuff going on, and this was a name given by a known criminal, there may be more going on than just a family, a noble family having a house robbery.
Yeah, Zodge basically explains to you that the thing that you were brought into the Flaming Fist to do was to get a handle on the cult activity. And as far as he knows, you guys have apparently done that, so they're just waiting to see if more stuff crops up. So, you guys are allowed to do what you want in the name of reducing the amount of cult activity, and if you think this is related, chase that lead.
Yes, we do. Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye. I just take it and just walk off.
Jesus. Fucking Owen.
I do look to Alaric and say, when we start this, how visible do you want your name to be on this? I imagine once they hear that Avon Roche is dealing with it, they might start to clam up.
Yes, that's quite possible. I may want to be involved in a limited capacity. At least on the initial approach.
Just so I can remember, what was it that you wanted me to find out from my contacts in the lower city?
Oh, yes, asking after an individual by the name or moniker of Krull that might have had dealings with Amric Vanthampur.
Okay. If you want, I can try and go do that.
Seems as good a time as any.
All right. Istilil will try to find out any information from his lower city contacts about this name.
All right. Would you like to go more investigatey or more persuadey? It kind of sounds like persuasion.
I mean, yeah, persuasion would be better. I at least have a 1 in persuasion.
All right, go for it.
I did not mean to have advantage. I will.
So,
do you want me to re-roll that, or?
well, we can just go for the first. That's an 11.
Mm,
It doesn't really matter. You don't find any information on a person by that name. Nobody
Okay.
seems to know what you're talking about.
all right. Meet back up with everybody, and sorry, folks, nobody in the lower city has heard of that name, or at least that's what they told me.
Nobody's talking, at least.
So, how do we want to do this? Just walk up to this house and let them know that we're the new investigators for the news for the stolen shield?
Well, if they are, if Letitia Hune was as displeased by the loss of the shield as it seems, then she may well respond positively to a new line of investigation being opened where before it was being ignored. Probably gain favor in that regard.
Was there any more description of the shield in the report given? Other than just a shield?
There were some rough dimensions and a specific maker's mark, so you could identify it if you came across it.
Cool.
And
Good to know.
there's also, you may want to bring up the aspect of her sister's absence from the public eye, perhaps very delicately.
You make it sound like you're not going to be there with us.
I mean, I might not want to be, depending on how delicately we're trying to look into this. And if I want to not present myself as myself.
Well, if you're worried about looking like yourself, I mean, couldn't we change your looks so that you don't look like yourself?
I have no capacity to do that. And besides, I think it would be a bit of a flimsy ruse. The conflict is on both sides. I think she would, as was said previously, would likely clam up if I were part of the investigation. I can do my own looking into things on the side, perhaps.
All right, if that's what you think is best.
Who knows?
I think at least for the initial conversation, if you were to not make yourself known and then following what we find, we can then start from there. But I think the initial conversation, if you were just out of line of sight, might be the best course.
Yes, I can get you into the upper city, get you in the right direction, and then see how things develop from there.
What time of the day is it? Is there something for now?
Oh, this has been an involved day. It's getting late.
All right, well, we can head over tomorrow in the afternoon, early afternoon.
It's an appropriate time to call us any.
All right, so if that's it for the day, I think a real life bit of a rest would be good. Are we good to continue for a bit, or are we good at calling it?
I could go for a bit longer.
I can go for a bit.
Okay,
I can
so-
do a little more.
impartial.
All right. So maybe back at top of the hour, so 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Also, you guys can level up. We're doing a lot of
Oh,
investigation.
Yay.
Thank God.
Level 4.
Level 4. Level 4.
Level 4.
ASI.
Oh,
ASI.
ASIs, finally.
Oh no. I never ever know what I want to do when I level. This is the worst possible. Everyone else can cheer, but I. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Ooh, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you want to be a good fight lady, Polearm
Yeah.
Master is a great feat.
Ooh, that is
Oh, if I'm working with pole arms, which I am.
you are.
I do want to be a sword lady at some point, though. That's sexy.
Yeah,
Just
you
gotta-
do kind of get locked in if you take a weapon specific.
Yeah.
feat.
True.
Let me fucking look at what this is, though, because like swords are and the fucking spears are neat too. Pikes is cool.
Bikes is pretty cool.